So I just heard that Transformers War for Cybertron, Earthrise, was dropping on Netflix on the 30th of December, so I thought I'd quickly breeze through a quick review of the first chapter, 6 episodes titled Siege. It's been out for quite a while, but I thought it might be nice to recap before the next chapter drops. So, welcome to the inside of my head as we refocus our optics and open our sparks to Transformers War for Cybertron, Siege. Mr. Normal Person, he's completely normal. Straight off the bat, this is the closest thing to the original animated series from the 80s that I have seen. Now, I'm no Transformers expert, but I have watched a lot of the Gen 1 stuff when I was a kid. Transformers Beast Wars through to Transformers Prime, all of the movies, quite a few of the comics. But again, I am no expert. So all that considered, this is the closest thing that I can think of to the Gen 1 stuff. Obviously, there was the opening sequence of the Bumblebee movie, but that was actually just an introduction. It was actually more of a backstory and scene setting, really, for that movie. The movie was kind of an offshoot from that, whereas this, the Cybertronian War, is the main event. A lot of the character designs of this are lifted straight from Gen 1, but, obviously 3D instead of 2D. There are no humans in this, which I think are the weak point of a lot of Transformers stuff. Like, who cares if Sam Witwicky gets a girlfriend or not, or has problems fitting in at college? I'm here for the bot carnage. So, no humans, no Earth. The whole thing, so far at least, is on Cybertron. And no happy grin times, because this is dark. And I mean, it's dark. There's a girl bot that gets her arm ripped off. There's, double crossing and even bot torture of POWs and death. So the story starts in the middle of the Cybertronian War, and while both sides have suffered heavy losses, the Decepticons are firmly on top, with the Autobots reduced to almost just a small militia in hiding. Their morale is low. They seem this close to breaking, and Optimus Prime is almost at a loss as to how to hold it all together. A lot of the bots haven't formed firm allegiances yet. Bumblebee is a mercenary who'll help whoever pays the most, Ratchet is doing his best to stay neutral, and Jetfire flips sides completely when realizing that Megatron is willing to commit genocide. And actually, even Prime and Megatron seemingly have doubts about the moral positions they've adopted. On the flip side, we see some Autobots having to team up with Decepticons and vice versa to accomplish certain missions, and it shows that a conflict such as this wouldn't be as simple as Team Good versus Team Evil. So Prime here isn't the fully formed, noble, valiant leader that we see in, say, Transformers Prime, who is a character that never really makes any mistakes. He always seems to be one step ahead, and I'm sure there are examples to the contrary, but, by and large, he is the God figure, isn't he? He's the voice of guidance. He's the voice of reason. This Prime is not that Prime. He's unsure of himself, he makes mistakes, and he really relies on his good buddy Ultra Magnus, who is the more experienced military leader. So anyway, the story, as with many of the Transformers storylines, revolves around the Allspark. The Decepticons reckon they know how to find it, and if they do, they can use it to reformat all of the Autobots into Decepticons. So the race is on for the Autobots to find it first. Long story short, Ultra Magnus gets captured, tortured, and brutally killed by Megatron. And when he dies, he releases what's called the Alpha Trion protocols, which are a vast collection of information and strategies designed to help the Autobots in times of great need. Now, the Alpha Trion protocols find their way into Bumblebee, which bring him back into the story, which turn him from a mercenary back into an Autobot. They choose him because deep down he wants peace. Now, Bumblebee has a vision of Alpha Trion, and Alpha Trion tells Bumblebee that his new role is to help Optimus through his time of learning and doubt. And Bumblebee has also been given knowledge of the location of the Allspark. Ultra Magnus' death is actually quite a shocking moment, and it's treated with real weight. Optimus talks about the loss of his old friend with a real finality. And it's not quickly glossed over like in much of the other Transformers series where, a bot dies and is never mentioned again. So this is one of my favorite portrayals of the Megatron character too. He starts out as a soldier fighting for his point of view, his vision for a new Cybertron, however flawed it may be. But as he has to sink to lower and lower depths in the name of victory, he quickly descends into a tyrannical maniac who'll do anything to expand his power. The show raises the question, is winning still winning if you have to compromise yourself to achieve victory? And for Megatron, the answer is yes. What I'm trying to say is at the beginning, he seems reluctant to compromise honor, for example, to win, you know? But then as the plot progresses, he'll suddenly consider torture, and then murder, and then genocide in order to win. So the Autobots find the Allspark, Optimus throws it into the space bridge to fuck knows where, and the gigantic Omega Supreme comes to the rescue. The Autobots make it back to the Ark and follow the Allspark through the space bridge. Where to? I don't know. But you know what? As the next series is called Earthrise, maybe it's got something to do with Earth. Who knows? Who knows? So how does this compare with some of the other installments from the Transformers franchise? Well, I'm not just going to compare it to anything. You know, there's no point comparing it to the Bayformers stuff because that's just like comparing apples to pears. But I still think that the best portrayal of the Cybertronian War was the opening of the Bumblebee movie. But that was so short that it's hard to even count that. On the other hand, considering this as a series, it's going to be really hard to beat Transformers Prime, but I'm not even sure the two of these should be compared, as Prime was a much more lighthearted affair. But either way, I'm really excited for Earthrise. The trailer sees the Autobots captured by the Quintessence, and they look like they're meant to, not like this fucking crap. And we get a glimpse of what looks like Nemesis Prime. We know he's evil because he's got red eyes. Megatron somehow talks to Galvatron, and we even get a shot of the one and only Unicron. So who knows what's going on, but I can't wait. Keep an eye out in the new year for my review of Earthrise, which, when it's out, I'll link right here. Thank you so much for watching. This was just a quick skim over the surface of everything that Siege was. There's a lot more in there, so go check it out for yourself. And like, subscribe, whatever, or don't, you know, also whatever. Now get out of my head before Michael Bay comes along and fucking reboots us all.